You finally have a free afternoon, nothing scheduled, no one needs you, the house is quiet, and instead of relaxing, something in your chest tightens. You sit down on the couch, and within 60 seconds, your brain starts generating a list of things you could be doing, should be doing, would be doing, if you were a better version of yourself. You haven't done anything wrong, you're just resting. But it feels like you're stealing time you didn't earn. And the guilt isn't logical. You know you're exhausted. You know you need this. You can explain to anyone why rest matters. But the moment you actually try to rest, your body rejects it. You pick up your phone. You start cleaning something. You open your laptop just to check one thing that turns into an hour. Anything to escape the unbearable feeling of sitting still and doing nothing while a voice in your head whispers, "You haven't done enough to deserve this." Here's what nobody tells you about this. That guilt is not about productivity. It's not about discipline. Psychologically, it's the echo of an environment where your worth was measured by what you produced, and rest was only allowed after you'd proven you'd earned it. Stay with this, because by the end, you're going to understand exactly where that guilt was installed, why it won't let you rest, and what it actually says about the kind of person you are. Let's start with what this actually looks like in daily life. Because people who feel guilty for resting don't look like they're struggling. They look productive. They look driven. They look like they have their life together. And that's the trap. You finish a full day of work. You accomplished everything on your list. You're physically tired. And you get home, sit down, and the moment your body starts to settle, something pulls you back up. Not an emergency, not a deadline, just a feeling, a low, humming discomfort that says stillness is wrong. So you start a load of laundry. You wipe down the counter, even though it's clean. You answer an email that could wait until tomorrow. Not because these things need to be done, but because the act of doing them is the only thing that makes the guilt bearable. Rest is the goal, but rest feels like failure. And the cruelest part is that you watch other people rest without a single visible flicker of guilt. They sit on the couch, they watch a show, they do nothing for an entire Saturday, and they seem fine. They seem at peace, and you wonder why you're built differently, why your body treats rest like a threat. But there's another layer most people don't notice. Because the guilt doesn't just show up when you're idle. It shows up when you're sick. It shows up on vacation. It shows up in the moments that are supposed to be recovery, and it poisons them. You catch a cold, and instead of resting, you feel guilty about the work you're missing. You take a personal day and spend it doing chores, because pure rest, doing nothing at all, produces more anxiety than working while exhausted. You go on vacation, and by day 2, your brain starts whispering about everything that's piling up at home. You can't enjoy the beach because you're calculating how much productive time you're losing. And the deeper issue is that even when you recognize this pattern, even when you see how irrational it is, you can't override it. The guilt is not in your thoughts, it's in your body. It lives below the level of logic, in a place that rational arguments can't reach. And this is where it connects to something deeper. Because this guilt was not something you chose, it was something you learned. Think about how rest was treated in the environment you grew up in. Not what anyone said about it. What was modeled? Was there an adult in your life who rested without guilt? Or were the adults around you always doing something, always busy, always working, always performing productivity as proof that they were good enough? Many people who feel guilty for resting grew up watching their parents, their caregivers, or their role models treat stillness as laziness. Rest wasn't modeled as healthy. It was modeled as something you had to earn through exhaustion. And the implicit message, never spoken aloud, but absorbed through thousands of small observations, was this: your value is determined by your output. When you produce, you are worthy. When you stop, you are nothing. Psychologists call this internalized productivity conditioning. Dr. Devon Price, a social psychologist, has written extensively about what they call the laziness lie, the cultural and familial belief system that equates human worth with constant productivity. This belief gets installed early, usually through a combination of household modeling and praise patterns. If you were praised primarily for what you did, good grades, clean room, helping out, being responsible, rather than for who you were, your brain learned an equation that now runs automatically. Worth equals output. Stop producing and the worth disappears. Rest is not neutral. Rest is dangerous because rest means the output stops. And when the output stops, the voice comes, "You're not doing enough. You're falling behind. Everyone else is working harder." We'll come back to how this connects to your nervous system, because what most people don't realize is that the guilt isn't just psychological, it's physiological. Your body is literally treating rest as a threat. But first, the mechanism. Because there's a reason your body can't settle, even when your mind knows it should. When a person grows up in an environment where productivity equals safety, their nervous system learns to associate activity with regulation and stillness with danger. The sympathetic nervous system, the go system, stays chronically activated, not at crisis level, just enough to keep the body in a constant low-grade state of readiness. Movement, action, doing, these become self-regulation tools. They're how you manage anxiety without even knowing you're anxious. And rest, real, complete, unearned rest, disrupts that regulation. When you sit still, the sympathetic system doesn't calm down. It spikes because it has lost its regulation tool. This is why rest feels wrong in your body. It's not guilt in the emotional sense. It's your nervous system interpreting stillness as a loss of control. Your body has been using productivity as a self-soothing mechanism for so long that the absence of it triggers the same alarm as an actual threat. Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory explains this with precision. The nervous system doesn't just toggle between calm and stressed. It has a hierarchy of states. And in people whose nervous systems were shaped by environments where activity meant safety, the system gets stuck in a mobilization state. It can't easily drop into the ventral vagal state, the state of genuine rest, safety, and social ease, because it was never taught that stillness is safe. The system needs movement to feel regulated. And so you clean, you organize, you answer emails at 11 p.m., not because you want to, because your body needs to. And once you see that pattern, the cost becomes visible. Because the cost isn't just that you're tired, it's that you've lost access to an entire dimension of human experience. The dimension of ease, of doing nothing and feeling complete, of lying on the couch and feeling at peace instead of panicked. Other people have this. You see it in them, and you assume it's because they care less, or they're less driven, or they're lazy. But that's not what's happening. They simply have a nervous system that learned that stillness is safe. Yours did not. And the difference isn't character, it's wiring. The cost shows up in your relationships too. Your partner asks you to relax, and you can't. Your friend invites you to do nothing together, and you show up with a project. Someone tells you that you work too hard, and you hear it as a compliment because the alternative, working less, feels like dying a little. You can't receive the gift of an empty afternoon because your system immediately converts it into an assignment. And the people who love you start to worry, not because you're doing too much, but because they can see that you're not choosing this. You're trapped in it. But here's what this guilt actually reveals about you. Because beneath the exhausting cycle of doing and guilt and doing more, there is something that nobody, including you, gives you credit for. You care ferociously, relentlessly, about doing things well, about showing up, about not letting people down, about being reliable, competent, present. The guilt you feel when you rest is not laziness anxiety. It is an overflow of responsibility, a sense that the world needs you to be functioning at all times because you have made yourself the person everyone can count on. And you did that not because someone forced you to. You did it because at some point, being reliable became the only way you knew how to be loved. You are not a machine. You are not lazy for wanting rest. You are not failing when you sit still. You are a person whose body learned to equate stillness with danger because the environment you grew up in never taught you that you could be valued for simply existing, not producing, not performing, just being. That lesson was never given to you, and the guilt you feel every time you try to rest is not evidence that you should keep going. It is evidence that you need rest more than most people because you've been running longer, harder, and with less permission to stop than anyone around you realizes. You deserve to rest, not because you earned it, not because you finished the list, not because everyone else is taken care of. You deserve to rest because you are a human being, and that is enough. It was always enough. If this felt like someone just described the war that starts inside you every time you try to sit still, the one nobody sees because you look so productive from the outside, you are not alone. Leave a comment about the thing your brain does the moment you try to rest. The first thought, the first impulse, the first bit of guilt. And if you want to keep understanding the invisible patterns running beneath your everyday life, subscribe. You've earned a lot of things in your life, but rest isn't something you earn. It's something you allow. And this might be the first time anyone has told you that.